When we took over at Bayern Munich, we were joining a team that weren't 10-time winners of the Bundesliga in a row. They were a team who'd won nothing in the past season. They asked me to win a domestic double. Mission failed, but there was a double. The Bundesliga reclaimed at the Allianz Arena, and after going all the way in the Champions League, I won my second in 2 years with two different teams. A Bundesliga and a Champions League title in one season. It might not have been a magic treble like we are in Nottingham Forest with the failing in DFB Pokal, but I knew come the end of the season, my job was done. I brought silverware back to the Allianz Arena, and I was totally fine leaving this team to go elsewhere. There are very few major European teams I haven't managed. But in this save, we've just left one to join another. After a very disappointing season at the Allianz Stadium, not Arena, Juventus finished trophyless in Turin. Second place in the Serie A, runners-up in the Coppa Italia, and of course knocked out by our Bayern Munich in the Champions League semi-finals. Juve, a team like Bayern, who for many years were dominating domestic football in their country, are no longer the force they used to be. Their team has very little identity, with quite a few aging players as well. They were looking for a new manager, and with their licensing back in the game, I thought once again, has there been a better time to join them? Just like it was with Bayern last season, I'm moving to Turin. And man, oh man, oh man, I am absolutely buzzing about this. What is going on, guys? And welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. It's episode number 78, and today, man, two major European sides that I've never managed before, and I'm jumping from one to the other in this save, going in search of my third straight Champions League, a third different team with Juventus, and I'm absolutely buzzing about this, because just like when we joined Bayern Munich, this is not a dominant side. Obviously Juve, as we know, didn't win the Serie A the past couple of years. Obviously you had first Inter and AC Milan as well. They're not the team they were when they won, I think it's 9 titles in a row. They're not that sort of team anymore, so it's a team that needs a rebuild, and their budget for our first season with them is absolutely monstrous. Yup, just like when we took over Bayern Munich, we were given a monster transfer budget for the summer to rebuild the side. No exception in Turin either. Just shy of £250 million to spend, and just like with Bayern Munich, the objectives are the same. Reach the final of the Champions League, so we don't need to win it. We've got to reach the final like we have done for the past 2 years with Forest and Bayern Munich as well. But in the Serie A domestically, win the league title. You'll notice if you're doing a Serie A career mode, there's no Coppa Italia objective. I've got absolutely no idea why it is. Some of you guys have asked me why it is. I don't know. I genuinely, I can't tell you. I actually don't know why there is no cup objective in Italian football in career mode. I've got absolutely no idea why, but let's be honest here. Realistically, with the money that Juve have got, it would probably be to win that as well. So, with Juventus like Bayern Munich, it's time to make sure the trophies return quickly. No doubt about it. First season, got to put silverware in the cabinet. Whilst there is no cup objective, that will be my objective as well. But with Juve, like I mentioned a moment ago there, it's no longer a dominant side domestically. It's a side with quite a few aging players. You've got Rabiot now 32, Kalidou Koulibaly back in the Serie A, but now 36. Conrad Lema is 30 as well. And you'll see as I run through the contract situation here, there are tons of players with their deals up come the end of the year that will need shifting on. Now, I did decide to give a few contracts out. Felix Carrera, a decent young winger, got a new contract. Also, Garifani as well, young-ish Italian goalkeeper, if you will. He'll be my backup this year. Filippo Ranocchia, 26 years old, good little squad midfielder, also got an extension, as did one of the highest potential Argentine players in the game. It's not Garnacho, but it's Soule, who looks amazing. And also gave contracts to Bruno Guimaraes, swapping one black and white vertical striped shirts for another from Newcastle to Juve. He's staying here. Araujo, one of the best young defenders in the game, now 28 years old, 89 overall. He does have the injury-prone tag, but of course I'm keeping him here. We've not got many defenders here at Juve, so of course we're going to let him go. And my other contract extension was, of course, to Federico Chiesa. Yeah, when I looked down at contracts, I was like, well, you know, quite a few are going to go, but this guy definitely isn't. Federico Chiesa, so good, man. He is, of course, staying right here. So that does mean the rest are going to go on the transfer list, including some decent young players like Ake, now 26, Morgan Rogers, 24 as well, but there's tons of players on the transfer list. We go for a rebuild. We've got 4 players that are 32 or older and several squad players as well. It's not a fixed squad here with Juventus, and there's one thing that I learnt with Bayern Munich last season, it's that you need depth. Last season we really struggled. We had a very little amount of quality and depth. So with Juve, I've got to make sure I don't make the same mistake. When Schlotterbeck went down early, we really struggled, especially defensively, being a centre-half that Nico was. He was done for the majority of the season. We're going to need depth. So the first thing I did was look into free agents pool for some good Italian players. Found a couple of good ones. Esposito, Jorginho, Lazzari as well. So I'll definitely bring in some free agents here with Juve. We might have $250 million to work with, but I say it all the time, man. Every time you join a new team, or every time you do a new season, or you go into a new season, check the free agents pool. I don't care how big your team is. I don't care how good it is. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how much depth you've got. Always, and I mean literally always, check the free agents pool, because you just never know when you're going to find an absolute bargain or a gem waiting to be picked up on a free transfer. But for Juve, heading into the season, like I said, depth is going to be key, but my main area of concern is definitely midfield and defence as well, and a new shot stopper too. We've got 4 goalkeepers here. A Macedonian arrived on a free transfer, but we're definitely going to need a new goalkeeper. You know, Emil Ordero, he's in his 30s, out of contract on the end of the season. He's going to go. We've got a bid here from Osasuna, which we negotiated for him. You know, obviously Ledesma, he's a starting goalkeeper at 82 overall. Not going to get any better. He's going to go. The Macedonian that's come in, I've put him straight on the transfer list. I'm not keeping him. He's nowhere near good enough for this team. We're going to need a new shot stopper. So, yeah, Ordero's going to go to Osasuna for 21.25 mil. And you would have seen for Renan Lodi as well. Man, this guy, he wants nothing to do with me, Renan Lodi, man. Like, seriously. I mean, he's gone to Bayern Munich for 65 mil. We had him back in season 1 for half a year in Nottingham Forest, and then he just went straight back to Atletico Madrid after half a year because I was prioritising Rodri Brown at the academy. Renan Lodi, after that experience, does not want to work with me once again. Fair enough, he's off to our old team, Bayern Munich there, and we'll take the cash as well. And Morgan Rogers is going to go to La Liga as well. I really like Morgan Rogers. Great, young, talented winger. 77 overall, 24 years old, but out of contract come the end of the season. The one area where we've got decent depth is on the wing. So I don't think we need all the wingers we've got. Ake, Rogers, they can go. You know, obviously, you know, we want to make sure we've got depth, but, you know, not too much in one position. Right now, we've got an abundance of wingers. Players like Rogers, they've got decent potential, don't get me wrong, but they're not going to get enough game time here. So I'm fine capitalising on their decent ability and a bit of potential, and getting a good value for money deal. He is on his way out to Getafe. So, as I was doing the free agent searching, I came across this guy. You would have seen him earlier in the episode here. And I just thought, well, I can't let this guy go elsewhere. He was approached, and I thought, yeah, I'm not leaving this to chance. I'm snapping up and taking him to the Serie A. Emiliano Bernardi. 20-year-old centre-half, didn't have the full scout report on him, but you saw the market valuation there at 28 mil, so you knew he was going to be good. He shows great potential. He's already 81 overall, 6'2", left-footed centre-half, great defensive stats, 86 strength already as well. This is an amazing young defender. And this is what I'm talking about, man. This is why you check the free agent report every single year. And I often say this as well. If you can't get a full scout report on someone before another club offers a contract to a free agent, if the valuation is high enough, take the plunge, take the gamble, and put in a bid, because the chances are they're going to be good enough. 28 million means he wasn't going to be like 68 rated. Of course, he was going to have a good starting overall, and at 20 years old means more likely than not he's good potential as well. That's just a very brief tip there. If you can't get a full scout report before another bid comes in for a player on a free agents pool, those players go very, very quickly on the free agents pool. They go very, very quickly. As soon as a club puts a contract offer in, you've only got like a day or possibly 2 days max to offer a contract and get it accepted on the same day. So my advice is, even if you haven't got a full scout report, just a very simple tip, look at the market valuation. Look at the market valuation of that player. If it's above 20 million, you know he's going to have a decent starting overall. In the case of Bernardi, 28 million, and at 20 years old, you know he's going to have a good starting overall and probably an okay potential as well. So don't sit there and think, well, I ain't got a full scout report, I don't know how good he's going to be, he might be low 70 overall. Think about it logically. Think about your players. Compare it to your players and what they're valued at. If it's around the same as one of your players who's got around the same age, chances are they got around the same overall as well. So that's just one of my very small tips there if you haven't got a full scout report, but another club comes knocking for a good little freebie. So following that, you would have seen a sale. Ordera has gone, one of our 4 goalkeepers leaving, and for my second signing, once again, I saw this guy had a bid from Hertha Berlin, and I wasn't going to leave it to chance. I knew I could get him for a valuation deal. We paid just that for Samuel Ricky. There are so many amazing young Italian players in this year's FIFA. He is one of them. Monza put the bid in, but I was like, nah, he's coming to the Serie A, but he's coming to us. So Ricky, he's not leaving the Serie A, he's coming to us. Ricky is 25 years old, 84 rated, and still has potential to get even better as well. I said with this Juventus team, the lack of depth is my main concern of it. It's got the quality, especially going forward. Chiesa on the left, Bergvijn on the right, and of course the Serbian tank, Vlahovic leading the line. But in midfield, it definitely needs a bit of a change. You know, obviously, you know, we've got Fofana, who's pretty decent, but then you got Curtis Jones, not sure about his long-term future. We just locked up Guimar Reyes, but, you know, Rabiot's in his 30s. Conrad Lane is in his 30s. We need a solid anchor man. Ricky is an amazing deep-lying playmaker. So, yep, he is in. Morgan Rogers goes to Getafe. So after 3 sales here, Ordero and Rogers to La Liga, and Renan Lodi going for a big 65 mil fee to our former club Bayern Munich. The 2 signings we made, good, decent young Italian players, especially in the case of Ricky at 25, he's all going straight in the first 11. And after the big sale of Lodi and Ordero and Rogers as well, we've now raised our budget up 70 million to 320. Yep, plenty of cash to play with. And in the very next episode, guys, we're going shopping. It is rebuild time. Don't miss it. It's going to be great. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. Big thanks for watching the season opener. If you've enjoyed it, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. And I'll see you for the next episode of Career very soon. Don't miss it. It's like 17 minutes of pure transfers. A total rebuild with Juventus. And I'll see you for very soon.